Welcome to Wisdom Trek with Gramps. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, and we are on day 2402 of our trek. The purpose of Wisdom Trek is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, and to boldly grow where few have chosen to grow before. In today's Wisdom Nugget, I'll guide you through the vast landscapes of biblical wisdom. Today we are delving into Psalm chapter 2, verses 1 through 6 from the New Living Translation. This psalm is a powerful proclamation of God's sovereignty and the futility of resisting His anointed one. It opens with a vivid depiction of a rebellious nations and their futile plots against the Lord and His chosen King. So let's embark on this trek together as we uncover the rich wisdom found in these verses. Psalm chapter 2, verses 1 through 6. Why are the nations so angry? Why do they waste their time with futile plans? The kings of the earth prepare for battle. The rulers plot together against the Lord and against His anointed one. Let us break their chains, they cry, and free ourselves from slavery to God. But the one who rules in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them. Then in His anger He rebukes them, terrifying them with His fierce fury. For the Lord declares, I have placed my chosen King on the throne in Jerusalem, on my holy mountain. Psalm 2 opens with the probing question, why are the nations so angry? Why do they waste their time with futile plans? Verse 1. The psalmist is perplexed by the rebellion and hostility of the nations against God. This anger and plotting are not just against any authority, but against the highest authority, the Lord and His anointed one. It is a reminder of the pervasive human inclination to resist divine authority and to pursue autonomy. Verse 2 continues, the kings of the earth prepare for battle. The rulers plot together against the Lord and against His anointed one. Here we see a collective rebellion. The kings and rulers, representing the political and military might of the world, unite in their defiance. They scheme and strategize, convinced that they can overthrow God's established order. Their rally cry is found in verse 3. Let us break their chains, they cry, and free ourselves from slavery to God. This declaration reveals their desire for independence and self-rule. They view God's authority as oppressive chains, and they seek to liberate themselves from what they perceive as divine bondage. This rebellious spirit is not just an ancient phenomenon, but continues to manifest in some various forms throughout history and even in our present day. The psalmist then shifts the focus from the earth's rebellion to heavenly response in verses 4 through 6. But the one who rules in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them. Verse 4. This is a striking image. While the nations rage and plot, God responds with laughter and derision. The divine laughter is not born out of amusement, but the absurdity and the futility of human rebellion against the omnipotent Creator. It underscores the impotence of the nation's schemes compared to God's sovereign power. Verse 5 intensifies the response. Then in anger He rebukes them, terrifying them with fierce fury. God's initial response of laughter gives way to a stern rebuke and a display of His fierce anger. This is a reminder that God's patience has its limits and that He will ultimately address and judge the rebellion of the nations. His anger is not capricious, but is a righteous response to the defiance and the rejection of His authority. In verse 6, God's declaration brings a focus back on His sovereign plan. For the Lord declares, I have placed my chosen King on the throne in Jerusalem, on my holy mountain. Despite the nation's rebellion, God's purpose remains unshaken. He has installed His chosen King, affirming His authority and the certainty of His divine plan. This chosen King, ultimately fulfilled in Jesus Christ, reigns in Jerusalem, the holy mountain, symbolizing God's unassailable rule. These verses, futility of human rebellion against God is a central theme. The nations, in their arrogance, believe that they can overthrow God's authority, but their efforts are in vain. This psalm reminds us that no human power or coalition can stand against God's sovereign will. The imagery of God laughing and scoffing at the plans highlights the disparity between human and divine power. This theme is a powerful reminder for us today. It's easy to become disheartened in a world where it is often hostile toward God and His ways. But Psalm 2 reassures us that God remains in control. His plans and purposes will prevail, regardless of human opposition. This should give us confidence and peace, knowing our faith rests in the Almighty God who reigns supreme. in reference to God's anointed one in verse 2 is significance. In its immediate context, it likely refers to the Davidic king, whom God has chosen to rule over Israel. However, the ultimate fulfillment of this anointed one is found in Jesus Christ, the Messiah. The New Testament writers frequently apply Psalm 2 to Jesus, recognizing him as the fulfillment of this prophecy. Jesus, the anointed one, faced opposition and rejection, much like the king described in Psalm 2. Yet through his death and resurrection, he triumphed over sin and death, securing his eternal throne. His reign is not limited to earthly Jerusalem, but extends to the entire cosmos. This underscores the comprehensive scope of God's kingdom and the ultimate victory of his anointed one. So how do we live in light of God's sovereignty? Understanding the truths of Psalm chapter 2, verses 1 through 6 has practical implications for our lives. First, it calls us to align ourselves with God's authority. Instead of resisting his rule, we are invited to submit to his lordship and embrace his ways. This involves acknowledging Jesus as our king and following his teaching. Second, it encourages us to trust in God's sovereignty. In a world often marked by chaos and conflict, we can take comfort in knowing God is in control. His plans are unassailable, and his purposes will be accomplished. This trust allows us to navigate life's uncertainties with confidence and hope. Third, it challenges us to participate in God's mission. As followers of Jesus, we are called to advance his kingdom on earth. This involves proclaiming the good news of his reign, promoting justice and righteousness, and embodying his love and grace in our communities. By doing so, we join in God's work of transformation of the world and bringing it under his sovereign rule. As we reflect on the profound wisdom of Psalm chapter 2, verses 1 through 6, several key takeaways emerge. The first is recognizing the futility of human rebellion. No human power or coalition can thwart God's sovereign will. The nation's rage and plotting are ultimately in vain. Second, trusting God's sovereignty. God remains in control, regardless of the opposition and turmoil that we witness in the world. His plans and purposes will prevail. Third, submit to God's authority. Embrace Jesus as your king and align your life with his teachings. Acknowledge his lordship and follow his ways. Fourth, participate in God's mission. As followers of Jesus, we are called to advance his kingdom on earth, proclaim his reign, promote justice, and embody in his love in your community. And fifth, find comfort in God's reign. Take comfort in knowing God's sovereign rule provides stability and hope amid life's uncertainties. How can we apply these lessons in our daily life? Start by examining your heart and motives. Are there areas that you're resisting God's authority or trying to assert your will? Surrender those areas to him and seek his guidance and direction. Trust in God's sovereignty, especially when you face challenges and uncertainties. Remind yourself that he is in control and that his plans will prevail. This trust will bring you peace and confidence as you navigate life's complexities. Participate actively in God's mission. Look for opportunities to share the good news of Jesus' reign with others. Promote justice and righteousness in your community and be a vessel of God's love and grace. By doing so, you join his work of transforming the world. As we conclude our exploration of Psalm chapter 2, verses 1 through 6, let's carry these insights with us. Recognize the futility of human rebellion, trust in God's sovereignty, submit to his authority, participate in his mission, and find comfort in his reign. By doing so, we align ourselves with Psalm's timeless wisdom and navigate life's complexities with grace and purpose. So join me next time as we continue exploring the rich treasures of wisdom found in the Bible. Until then, keep seeking God's wisdom, cherish each moment, and continue making a positive impact on the world around you. And if you found this podcast insightful, please subscribe and leave us a review. Then encourage your friends and family to join us and come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, creating a legacy. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, and most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. As we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you next time for more daily wisdom.